This next practice is called shapeshifting. It's actually a 5-element practice. And I really want to thank one of my teachers, Stuart Heller, a Tai Chi master, who shared this practice with me. I've changed it since and made it my own with his permission. And I encourage you to do the same. Another teacher of mine, Wendy Palmer, said, our neuroses are far more exciting than most of our practices. So we have to make our practices exciting in order to sustain them, in order to change old habits. So this practice is called shapeshifting. And I came up with the name because I was sitting with a group of children, and I asked them a question that most of us were never asked when we were in school growing up, which was, what would you love to learn today? I mean, just take a moment, please, and think about that. In my workshops, it might be 1 out of 20 people who were ever asked that question growing up in school. And since we are what we practice, we've practiced often choosing from not what we would love, but what we were given. I asked the kids, what would you love to learn today? And one child raised his hand. He said, teleportation. And I was thinking about that one. I was like, wow, okay, teleportation. Another kid said, shape-shifting. I immediately said, that one I can teach you. It's about shifting our shape. And by shifting our shape, we can shape also our emotions and how we think about things. It's cross-training. You have to train in this practice and all these practices, these somatic practices, across those domains. You practice it physically, it'll translate mentally and emotionally. You practice it mentally, it'll translate emotionally and physically. It begins taking a shape that connects you to the ground, what you care about. And then it moves to water, all our relations, to fire, decisiveness, creativity, expression, to wind, lightening up, letting things go by, self-regulation, and then space, which is what it's all in service for. It's all about being present, spacious. So again, moves from ground to water to fire to wind to space. Now that's a linear fashion, but really truly it's about, once you start practicing this, you can use your body like a pendulum. What do I need right now? Sometimes you're in an overload situation and it gets really, and you feel tight in your body, and when that's like a fight-flight symptom. And when you do that, you lose your higher thinking. The more relaxed you are, the more aware you can be. So by relaxing, centering, you can make better choices. So use your body, it'll tell you where to go. If you're feeling tight and you don't know where to go to wind first. Wind is about watching what's in front of you, letting enough of it go by so that you're not overloaded instead of taking it all on. Let it go by. It's not about leaving. It's about letting it go by so you can be present. When my wife and I have an argument, she already knows my practices. So instead of going like this, with my arms out, I go like this. I go, really? I move my hand this way, as if I'm moving some of that by me. And we laugh, because she knows I'm doing that so I can be with her. Otherwise, I take on too much. So this is about knowing where you end and another begins. About autonomy. It's very important. We're already standing on the ground. That's the ground. And that connects us to our support system, to the world that we're a part of. So, ground what you care about. Imagine every day starting the day with, what do I care about? Really landing in it, standing in it. It would change your life. It would change your life to organize yourself that way. By knowing what you care about. For example, I care about honesty and integrity and caring and respect in all my relationships. If I remind myself that each day, when I get lost sometimes in my daily interactions in my life, I can come back to the ground I stand on more quickly if I practice. Water is all my relations. All those who are behind you, all those who walk beside you, and those young ones in front of you. Again, this is a place that we have over and over in my workshops. I notice there's such a focus on what's in front of us. We forget the incredible amount of resources behind us. You can imagine the great teachers that have walked on this planet and the ones that have been in your life. And remember them. And in the remembering of them, you actually can connect with them and the resourcefulness that's back there. You can connect to your ancestors, at least the ones who were healthy and whole, and even reconcile with some of those that you've had trouble with, that were in your life. When you know the ground you stand on, and when you are in touch with all your relations, you can move to fire, which is about expression and creativity. You can relax in the knowing that you can speak your truth. This is what empowers our words. And then wind, which I've already spoken of, and space, which is about presence. All these are centering practices in service of being present. And when you're, especially with someone else, the most powerful gift we can give anybody is to be present and listening and engaged in that way.